What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's been a minute, but I'm here today. And today I want to talk about, you know, there's a lot of people going through stuff, right? Um, and of course, when you go through things, it's very hard for somebody to come out and openly express themselves to allow people to know what they're going through. Some might say it's very hard for them to be vulnerable to that type of situation. But in this life, though, we have to understand that you know we're not supposed to do a lot of things by ourselves. Y'all always hear me say the expression "born alone, die alone." But in life, there should be people around you that is going to be for you. And sometimes when you're going through your darkest of states, your deepest of sorrows, there's gonna be people out here that want to have sympathy or sympathize with you. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and look at what sympathy is per se, right? I'm gonna give you the full definition that I got on here, and then I'm gonna read what I got on the Google side of it. So over here it says, you know, uh, sympathy is the feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune, right? It also says the understanding between people, a common feeling. And then the last one is the state of fact or responding in a way similar to corresponding to the actions elsewhere, right? Like my thing is, I know a lot of us look at the first example of the word sympathy, right? And we see that word pity. Now I get it. I know people don't like, I cringed when I read it myself. Damn, pity. Nobody want nobody else's pity while they're going through something. But we have to understand that it's not. It's the fact that we feel a way for you, like we feel for you, we go through the thing, we we, we 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 want to be there for you. So my sympathy goes out to blah blah blah, right? So even with that, right, let me go ahead and read what I got on the Google. As y'all see, I'm using being the feeling of sincere concern, pity, or compassion for someone else's suffering or misfortune. Now, when that's much better for me, because I want you to feel like I understand, I am with you. My passion, my compassion, meaning to come together with your feeling, or go through this with you in an outside manner. Like I'm out. If there's anything I can do, condolences and things like that. That's the thing that I want to focus on. Like that word pity, I know a whole bunch of people hate that word, and it's like, I don't want to deal with that because I don't need nobody feeling sorry for me, and so on and so forth. Um, so when I break it down to the words itself, now I might be doing this wrong. You know, I'm not trying to be funny, right? But the first part of the word sim, right? It means with or together, indicating a unity, cooperation, or similarity in the words thereof. The prefix sims comes from the word, uh, wait, an ancient Greek word. I can't read the Greek word, which means with, together with, or in company with. So I am in company. I am. I am. I am wanting to join you with your sorrow. I want to be there for you to make you feel that you're not alone. So that's the first part of the sim, right? Uh, And the back end of it is the pathy denotes a condition, disease, or disorder, or a type of feeling or perception, often used in medical and psychological terminology. That's my guided word. Y'all know the psychological thing, right? But so that's what it means. I want to be there with you while you feeling the loss of something, or you feeling down in the doldrums, or whatever the case may be. I want to be there with you. I want to be there for you, right? But because we first think of that word pity, it stops a lot of movement for a lot of us. I just want people to understand we have to bypass a lot of the what ifs. We have to bypass the ulterior motive. This is why you have to know yourself. This is why you have to have discernment, because everybody that's around you ain't really there to harm you. Ain't everybody's not there to be nosy. But because in our circle of life, we have so many people that once you feel that you want them to see, they want to see your downfall. We think people are just pitying us to just gather information, to weaponize the information, to use our loss of a situation against us. Damn, that's why he ain't or she ain't the same because they lost their parent, right? I I pity them, but yet I'm gonna use that against them. That's why they ain't. That's why that child is the way it is. They don't have no. They're motherless. They're fatherless, or whatever the case may be. But there are people that's not here to weaponize this stuff. There are people that is genuinely concerned about what you go through. It's people that genuinely is concerned about what's going on in your life. Shout out to my favorite logical thinker, More Perspective, right? Because she set the example, right? She has a well, I'll tell it briefly. I can't tell it the way she tells it. She has a neighbor that's going through an elderly neighbor that's going through a thing, right? And the family is not there. So she took it upon herself to have the compassion to sympathize with what that man is going through. And she goes and takes care of the man. He's not in his right frame of mind. He has dementia, Alzheimer's, and she takes liberty. She has that much compassion and sympathy for this man to where she will make sure he's all right. Now that's not her job, but that's just the love you have. See, sometimes like that's why I didn't want to use that first definition, because she didn't pity the man. She just has that much compassion and love for a person. Say, you know what? I can't sit there and watch you go through that. I can't sit there and allow you to just be wandering to and fro, and you don't know where you're going and how you get back. She went above and beyond her situation to sit there and be there for that individual. And while that's not popular in these days of time, I just want to say, that's what we need. That's what we're going to need going forward, because everybody's not able to handle things on their own. You need that type of compassion. You need that type of sympathy, not just the pitying part, but the part of you being there to just lend a shoulder, or sometimes you just lend an ear when somebody's going through something. You don't know how much that would mean to somebody. You don't know how much it can bring a person back. Sports chat Friday night was talking about the story of Chris Johnson. For those of you that don't know who Chris Johnson is a former NFL player who just announced that he has ALS. And it was on Good Morning America. And Michael Strahan he did the interview. And if you looked at Michael Strahan, you saw he kind of pity. You saw the look of pity, but you saw the look of concern while he was interviewing him. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna allow you to speak what you want to say about what you're going through. And he's speaking. He's trying to be strong. Chris Johnson trying to be strong and tough, but at the same time, he understands what he's going through. And and it's a lot of people that don't get away from that illness. There's a lot of people that haven't made it to a certain point of their life saying they were successful making it through that disease, right? And he had his wife there, and his wife was like, this is tough. He's trying to be strong for the kids and the family. And he went on to speak about how fast the ailment. Commander, what up, Nine? Appreciate you. And going through all of that stuff, and I'm like, you know what? We saw the side of Michael Strahan showing the sympathy towards this man, like you tell a story. And of course, there's people that had so little compassion for this man. They want to know, why don't we talk about if the NFL or football is what causes ailment? And in that moment, Sports Chat he went on a rant. And of course you're gonna feel that way. Why? Because they show no sympathy. You worrying about what a football league is doing instead of what this man is going through. Where's the sympathy in that? Where's your sympathy to say, you know what? First of all, my condolences. That fake ass condolences. I know you're going through what you're going through, but let's speak about the truth. No, the truth of the matter is he's going through something. Don't nobody want that fake pity. Don't nobody want that fake sympathy to where you're looking at somebody and say, you know what? I wonder if. Nah, what are you wondering for? Be in the moment. Sit there and go through what that person is going through, right? If somebody lost a parent, you ain't gonna sit there. If you sit there saying, you know what, I think they're gonna go off the rails because they lost, then you don't really give it there, because your job, if you're sympathetic for that person, you should be able to understand your job is to make sure they don't go off the rails. They don't run off track. They don't do all of this. They don't do the crazy things that a person that's mourning or a person that's going through the doldrums of life would do, because they're losing their sense of morality, their sense of understanding what's really happening, the sense of what do I need to do to go forward. I'm mourning, but you weren't about my downfall. That's not a sympathetic person. A sympathetic person is going to sit there and really be there if you're going through if you're going through something. They're going to be there for you. If you lost your home, a sympathetic person going to say, if you need anything, let me know what you need. But a person with that fake pity is going to say, you know what, I gave them something and I'm going to use that against them. This is why people don't want sympathy around them anymore. This is why people say, you know what, man, I'm not telling nobody nothing, because I'm so used to seeing somebody use that against me. I gave that person $1 because they couldn't get on the bus. You see people getting arrested trying to get on buses and trains because they're trying to go to work and they don't have it, so they don't pay the fare. And instead of somebody saying, you know what, I got the change for that person to get on the bus, you sitting there worrying about, well, why the hell they ain't got it? You don't know what that person's going through. You don't know the financial stress that people are going through. And we know there's so many people going through financial stress because everything is rising, but the pay ain't rising. But you so busy worrying about why they don't got it, why they don't have this, why they don't have that. Be sympathetic and say, is there anything I could do to help you? You don't got that 50 cents. I'll put that 50 cents in there for you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you $2 just in case you can't get back home or whatever the bus fare is. That's a sympathetic person. Why? Because you are understanding that there's something that's wrong with this, and I'm gonna do something that helps. Maybe that'll help your conscience. Maybe that'll clear you up, your mind of any doubts of you not being able to do something. But what you doing for that other person may be more than what you understand. That's what sympathy should be bringing to people. Like, dang, I just met this person from Adam, and he paid my fare, or she paid my fare, or she gave me a cup of coffee while I was standing in the cold freezing, or whatever the case may be. You have sympathy. You have an understanding. You have come to a moment to where you see a person going through something and you respond. And that's what we need in today's world. We like you have to be tired of people being chatterboxes, and just stop talking about it. Do something about it. Don't just sit there and laugh at that person because they sleeping in a cardboard box. Don't just start laughing at people because those kids don't got a pair of Jordans on. We We do so much harm that we don't understand how much good there is in sympathy. And that's why they want to use sympathy, because of that word pity. I'm not pitying the person. I'm saying, you know what? I want to uplift you. You know what? You don't have a pair of gloves on in this cold weather. Well, here, take my gloves. You don't have a jacket on, you drenched in this rain. Would you like my umbrella or my jacket? Right? Because you understand what it's like to not have. You understand what it is to be without. You understand about a loss. All last year, all I did was lose a whole bunch of people, right? So now that when I see somebody going through that, listen, my condolences to you. Even though I would say that already, but when you know, you know. You know, me and Commander, we joke about it all the time. Knowing is half the battle. Shout out to G.I. Joe. And it is half the battle. Is what you do with the rest of the knowledge that you gain is what's going to impact you to do the things that you need to do correctly. Stop worrying about what they're going to say. Well, you a sucker. You a simp for helping out that girl. Well, if that girl if she ain't got no way to get home, help her way home. Sympathy doesn't make you a simp. Sympathy simply means that you have an understanding of, or you can see what that person is going through. You're visual. You're physically understanding what's happening out there. And that's what we need in this world. That's what we need going forward in life, right? Because everybody is getting older. I don't care who you are, unless if you an infant listening to me, you good. But other than that, everybody's getting older. Everybody's getting ready to lose something. Everybody's getting ready. A baby loses his first tooth, baby teeth. It gains more. But they don't know that. But oh, baby, is this going to be okay? The baby falls down for this first time. We sympathetic. Oh my God, baby, it's going to be all right. Stand up. Come on. I'll hold your hand. That's what we need, because we're all still growing. And those of you those that are grown, you can't help them. You could be the example for them. I sympathize with that person that's grown. Why? Because they ain't gonna understand it, but I care about them trying to be a better version of themselves. So this is why I could come up here and say, you know what, I care that you change your mind. I care that you stop thinking that you're grown. There's still room for you to grow. Everybody needs that type of thing, because if you stand on your own, you may miss the message. You may miss the understanding that I still got a lot to learn, but because I am who I am and I did what I've done, and can't nobody tell me nothing, there's a lot that's going to pass you by. And this is why we have to be who we are. If we're trying to grow, you should be able to, you know what? I see you making your best effort, man. Let me see if I can help you. Sis, I see you over there trying to do your best. Let me help. How can I help you? What can I do to make sure you don't give up on yourself? That's what sympathy could be. Sympathy could just be, hey, don't give up on yourself, man. I'm here with you. Let me help you up. You fell, let me grab my hand so I can pull you up. That's a sympathetic gesture right there. It's not that you feel bad for the person. Hey, I want you to continue to go forward. Come on, let's go forward. But as long as we got people in here or out there that think they have all the answers, and you can't tell me nothing, and I'm better than you. I'm not here to competition is the opposition of sympathy. Because if I'm here to compete with you, I'm not going to feel sorry for busting your ass. I'm not going to feel sorry for trying to make you look bad. That's why I don't debate. Because if I debate, my job is to win the conversation. But if I'm trying to win the conversation, I'm really trying to debunk what the hell you saying so I can be right. I don't want to be right. Sympathy allows the other person to say, you know what, this is the right thing to do. Let me come over here and help you. What can I do? Can I tie your shoe? Can I help you with your bags, young lady? Even though she's an elder, she's an elder statesperson, right? Or let me make sure you get across the street, because these people driving 60 miles an hour. Some of them might pass the red light. They'll go right through the red light. That's sympathy. That's compassion. That's understanding that everybody is not in the position that you in. But that doesn't give you the right to pity them and weaponize it against them. But of course, there are people that's going to do that. And of course, there's people that's really going through something right now and they really, really, really need a shoulder to cry on. They really need an ear to let go of that frustration verbally. But they are so afraid that people is going to pity them and I heard you, but you could have done better. Nobody needs that when you are a sympathetic ear. Don't do that. Let them speak. Let them get that off their chest so they can get themselves ready for their next step. But we got a lot to learn. We being a bunch of individual, a bunch of human beings, we have a lot to learn. Why? Because I promise you, there's gonna be that time that you're gonna need that sympathy. There's gonna be a time that you're gonna need that compassion. You're gonna want somebody to be there with you so they can connect to your feelings and understand what you're going through in that time, in that moment, in that second. But you're gonna be so afraid. Why? Because you did that to somebody else. And that's why a bunch of us really don't want the sympathy, because we've done more harm with the pitying than any good. And that's why we keep staying in nonsense and mess, because we don't have that sympathetic ear. We don't have that sympathetic heart. We don't have that sympathetic spirit of understanding what a person is going through. You know what I mean? That's why I check on people on a daily basis, just so you know I don't pity you. I love you enough to say, yo, you good? You good? I love you that much to say, man, listen, man, if you need to talk, I'm here. I've said that plenty of times, and people have taken me up on it. That's not my job to explain or show who it is, but those people know that what they told me, if they ain't heard it outside of what they told me, they know I mean what I say. Why? Because I had that compassion for that person to keep it where it belongs, between the hearer and the verbalizer. You know what I mean? That's what we need going forward. That's why we have to become better people, because we're going to be the ones that's going to be in that moment. God forbid you a parent, you in your 40s, and all of a sudden you get that phone call. Hey, something happened to your child. Hey, you got to rush to the hospital, this, that, and the third. You're going to be so frantic. Your mind's going to be racing. You're going to need that sympathetic person. Hey, I'm here to explain yourself. I'm going to help you. In the meantime, just hold my hand so you don't run around frantic, even though you are. But there's somebody that's in your corner that's going to be calm, because they understand what you're going through. I'm here. What do you need me to do? Do you need me to make phone calls? Do you need me to go get your child if your child is in school? If you got another child, there's so many reasons why you need a sympathetic person around you. And it ain't because they pity you. You could be genuinely liked, and people really want to be there for you. Your charisma, your character could build people or put people around you that's generally going to be there for you, and not for no other reason but for you. I don't care if I go against that other person over there. I don't care if that person don't like that I'm over here with you. That's a them problem. I'm here because you need this right now. That's a sympathetic person. But we got so many people worrying about the wrong damn things in life. All it takes is somebody to say, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, whatever you want to talk about, I'm here. People don't show people that you care too much, because they'll have you standing on you. And that's another thing but even with that, right? That's why you need the discernment. That's why you need that balance that word always talk about. There's going to be good sympathy. There's going to be bad sympathy. There's going to be good discernment. There's going to be bad discernment. You got to understand how much of this you can take. Just because they crying, they can be crying crocodile tears. You got to understand if it's real or not. You have to take the time to observe if this is an authentic thing or not. And if it's authentic, you do what you can. You don't have to go above and beyond. Do what you can. Do what you must. Yeah, there's some, and that's what I'm saying. There is truth to that. And And there's going to be people out there that's going to make your kindness a weakness. And when they do that, they don't care because they're getting what they want. You're doing what you feel is right, but they'll milk the hell out of that thing. You know what? I need you again because I tried this thing and it didn't work, and I don't have any other ultimate. I don't have no alternative. So what do you think I should do? So now you gotta sit there and play defense sometimes. Okay, you tried that. What was the results of that? Did you learn anything from that? Okay, so now as you go forward, take what you learned, take the positive stuff, and build on that. Don't repeat the things that failed you. Right? That way, you're not giving them an answer. You giving them you allowing them to tell you the answers that they need to do. Right? Because if you say, you know what, just because you didn't know how to tie your shoe, let me show you how to do it. No, I'm not. Everybody don't deserve that because everybody's not a child to where you have to go through that situation like that. If you have total understanding of what's going on around you, hey, you just got to try that again. Just try it again. It may work this time. You see what I'm saying? That's why you got to have that discernment, because if you don't have that discernment, people will walk all over you. And I get it. And that's the thing that happens to those sympathetic people the most. There are people that will drain the hell out of your sympathy. They will build themselves up, but they will drain you and leave you with nothing. So I understand both sides of the field. I do, because it's happened to me more than once. I've done it like it was never a problem. But in the losses, you have to gain a lesson. You don't gain lessons in victories all the time. Well, very seldom you're going to gain a lesson in a victory, because the only thing that matters is that what you did, it worked. So you're not going to look at the wrongs. You're going to look at the right. Well, if I do that again, I'm straight. I'm good. I can do that. I can help that person the way I help. Nah, because it's different individuals. It's the losses that keep you up at night. Right? What do I mean by that, right? If you win, you're going to have you a nice little sleep. If you go to the casino, you win some money, that adrenaline goes like, you know what? I'm good. I feel like I'm about to lose it. You're going to have a nice rest. But those losses, you go in there, you lose $4, $5, $6, $7, $1,000. You ain't sleeping well because now you're like, damn, I just wasted $1,000 on this, that, and the third. Right? If you don't gain this, you don't get that good sleep losing. You get that good sleep winning. You get that peaceful sleep when you're up ahead. If you're worrying, you're not going to get that sleep. Oh, I'm sleeping with one eye open. Oh my God, when this next bill going? No, that's not how this goes. When you're doing the right thing, you got to understand you're doing it for the right reasons. Now, there are going to be people that's taking advantage of that. I know it. I'm saying it as my fact. It's my truth. People have used me because I'm that compassionate. People have used me because I'm that sympathetic. They could be going through the smallest of things. I just needed to talk to you because, I needed somebody to help me with this food because I don't have this, that, and the third. All right, I got you. Don't call me the next day talking about you still need food, because you have to figure out what your next step is after that. Now, there's times when you've been there. All right, well, damn, you ain't got no job, so I can only do this right now. But that don't mean I'm going to move you in my place. That don't mean I'm gonna take food out of every day. I'm going to take food out of my mouth because you're going through a situation. No, you got to do the work. My work is done. I make sure you ate at that time, that moment that you needed that situation. But that don't give you the right to lean on me because my character says I'm going to be there for you for that moment, that long period of time. That's not what that means. I have a life too. I have to do things for myself too. That's a selfish person that's going to use your sympathy, your sympathetic ways against you. And there are a lot of selfish people. But that's why, in this year of the one, I'm telling everybody, you got to focus on yourself. You got to learn when to say, yo, enough is enough. I'm not doing that. I'm not letting you talk to me that way. I'm not letting you take every nook and cranny that I have just because you need it. I'm not doing that. You can't afford that. You can't afford that physically. You can't afford that mentally, and definitely spiritually, because it'll drain you in all three aspects. That's why you have to understand who's really with you. Because if they really with you, they'll make sure, I don't want to be. That's why people say I don't want to be a burden. You're not a burden if I'm being sympathetic to you. I'm gonna help you through it. But the burden, the burdenless person is gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna milk this mother until he dry. I'm gonna get every nook and cranny that I can from him, or I'm gonna get every little thing I can from her. I don't care if it's a moment of her time. I'm gonna stop her from cooking. I know it's 5 o'clock. I know she's about to cook dinner. I know it's 6. I know it's 5 o'clock. I know you're ready to clock out. But let me holler at you real quick before we get up out of here. You know what I mean? Let me holler at you. I'm going through this, and this. I don't think the boss like me. Da 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 da. Or you know what? He's cheating or she's cheating. Well, you know what you can do? You can call me back because I got to take care of this thing over here. I got to take care of me. I got to take care of my family. Let me cook this, and I'll call you back. Now we know sometimes when we say I'll call you back. I ain't calling you back. But sometimes that's good for you because hey, let me prepare myself for the flim flam that you get ready to hit me with, because we know the people that's going to tell us a cockamamie story for us to be on their side. I'm on the side of truth. I'm sympathetic with the truth. Why? Because the truth is going to set us free. The truth is going to allow us to be who we need to be. The only way the truth don't set you free is because you are so guilty of what you've done that truth is going to keep you in bondage. That's the only way. That's going to happen to you. So of course I want to feel. I want to be there for that person. Of course, I want that person to understand that if I rock with you, I'm there for you. And that's why a lot of the time people are afraid to tell me stuff like, damn, I don't really want to tell him because, he might do too much. That's why if you ever pay attention, right? When somebody, if you're doing the right things in life, people will never connect with you unless they need to connect with you. You know what I mean? They like, for example, if you don't drink or smoke, they not gonna come. They're not gonna come around you in that fashion or manner. But when their luck is down, they don't have it. That's when they'll come to you, like, you know what? Hey, such. I'm going through so much. I can't go through my regular routine, so I'm leaning on you. And you're like, all right, cool. Well, I'm glad you understood that because I'm not dealing with that bullshit you on, drinking and smoking and all that. I'm not doing that. What you need, all right, let's talk about it. We talk about it. All right, you sober enough to understand what I'm saying? Yeah, all right, well, this is what, okay, well, what do you want to do now? Take your time. You figure it out. You think that works for you? Apply it to your life. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing that we need to do going forward. We're not here. I'm not here. I'm speaking for me. I'm not here to use your life against you. I'm here because I want the best for you. And I understand that that's not a popular thing. And I understand that people might be mocking me and laughing at me and hitting the unsubscribe and unlikes. I get all that. But that doesn't change me from being me. I am who I am because I stand on what I stand on. And sometimes you need that sympathetic ear to say, you know what, I need you. I just need somebody to talk to. Your character will allow you to be who your character is your reference. So if somebody came to me and said, you know what, I just needed to talk, man, please don't tell nobody. All right, what's up? All right. Now it's up to those people to say, you know what, I can vouch for what he said. He's not going to tell because I haven't heard what I told him yet. I haven't heard what she told me yet. That's the verification. That means you really care. That means you sympathize with that person. And it doesn't mean that you have to like them. You just understand what they're going through. You could be sympathetic to an enemy. Damn, I'm sorry that you're going through this, man. Is there anything I could do? Yeah, man, let's squash that beef. Because if you don't do that, then you gonna feel bad. Like, damn, I could have squashed that beef while that man was still here. I could have squashed that beef when that woman was still here. All right, so me, I would say, you know what, and maybe this is just me. All right, I could have squashed it. Like, this is what I do, right? I'm gonna tell you. I'll show you how this goes. My brother's not here, right? I lost my brother some years ago, so I can't be that brother to my brother, but I could be an uncle to my nieces and nephews. So that's what I do. I could be as close. I could be as close to a father as possible, but without being that father. Hey, I just needed to talk to you because I was trying to look at this job and this, that, and the third. Yo, listen, man, the streets ain't working for you. Go ahead and do that job. Hey, I feel like this person don't love me. If you feel that way, do you think you need to be around him? All right, well, there's your answer. You answered your own question. Follow that. Take that instinct and get away from that person. If you feel that's not the right place for you, don't be there. That's the sympathy I have for my brother. That's the love and compassion that I have for my brother. I can't give it to him, so you give it to the next person down the line. That's the compassion that sympathy should be intertwined with. Not just to say, you know what, damn, that's messed up, man. That's messed up that man cheated on you. Can I lay down with you? Nah, that's not sympathy. You just weaponize the whole situation. You know what I mean? But there's people that do that. There's people. That's why they say, the opposite sex can't be friends, because a lot of people do that. I got a whole bunch of female friends. I don't gotta sleep. I ain't slept with them. They just understand. Hey, I hear you. So this is what you need to do. Dudes, they it's very hard for a dude to open up because they definitely feel like they become weak. But somewhere in the scripture it says, when I am weak, then I am strong. Because you are weak enough to say, you know what, I need to rebuild my strength. And you need that sympathetic ear to say, you know what, I'm going through this. Be there for that person. Don't worry about if they're going. If you worry about if they're going to use that against you, you're gonna be stuck in your own doom and gloom until you find a way to release that. Find that sympathetic person. Find that sympathetic ear. Just say what you need to say, and then you'll feel that pressure come off your shoulders. You'll feel that monkey come off your back, so to speak. This is what we need to do going forward. Stop worrying about if this is the reason. Who cares about the reason? They're going through it today. They're going through it right now. Help them. Just listen to them. Sometimes you don't got to say nothing. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you're going through this. All right, I appreciate that. Oh, I got another call. I appreciate you. Bye. Hey, you did your part. Congratulations, you did your part. You became a sympathetic ear for that person that's going through that moment. It's not about your response all the time. It's about your actions. Because sometimes the non-response is the greatest action you can possibly give somebody. That's what people are looking for today. We're not here to. I pity you, but I told you was gonna go through that. I told you don't get with that girl. I told you she was a cheater. I told you don't mess with that dusty dude. I told you he just wanted you for your body. That's not what it's about. Okay, you made the mistake. How do you recover? What do you think you need to do? Do you think it's your fault? Why do you think it's your fault? How do you get away from that being your fault? These are the things that you gotta ask. These are the things that's what people really need in life. Damn, I don't know how to pick right. What is your preference? Okay, let's have that conversation. Right? Sympathy don't always gotta be the doomest of glooms. It could just be, you know what, I just messed up right here, man. Yeah, I've done that before, man. I had this girl. Ooh, yeah, that happens. So you gotta have that sympathetic ear. You gotta have that. You gotta be that. You have to have sympathy. It doesn't make you soft to be sympathy. It doesn't make you soft if you have sympathy. It doesn't make you a simp if you have sympathy towards a female. Ladies, well, I've never heard of a lady simp, but if that's the case, ladies, you ain't a simp if you feel like that dude needs your ear to sit there and you listen to what he's going through. It just means that you have compassion enough to say, you know what, I'm just here to listen to your problem. We can figure out how to go through it next. And that's all you need to do. That's all we need to do going forward. Sympathy is not a weakness. It can make you a stronger individual. It allows your vulnerability to be accepted and used in its right way. You you will appreciate the person that allowed you to be that vulnerable to them. That's all sympathy is. That's all it needs to be right now for a lot of us. But of course, we got those doom and gloom people that's gonna say, you know what? I told you not to do this. I told you. I told you. I don't need a I told you so moment. I need a let me get this off my chest moment. Let me get this out my mind moment. Because if I don't, I might do something that I ain't supposed to do, and I'm gonna live to regret it. So, that's pretty much that's pretty much what I wanted to say today about sympathy. I'll probably come back with something. I think I'm gonna do empathy next, but I'll probably do that, you know, I don't know. Whenever it occurs, because you gotta understand the difference between sympathy and empathy. And it's a huge difference. But we'll go into that in the next conversation. Shout out to my nine commander. Appreciate you here being here. I appreciate your input. I appreciate you wholeheartedly. You know, it's always a blessing to be in your presence, right? And anybody that was in the background that didn't have to comment, I appreciate you being here. Hopefully, this is something that will help you going forward. So, with that being said, y'all, I'll see y'all later. I'm out.